Hello and welcome to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Holly Whitfield. I am here with Memphis Whistle owners, Jeff and Amanda Hicks. We are recording on location in the lounge room at Memphis Whistle, a Cooper Young craft cocktail lounge and restaurant. Welcome, Jeff and Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're going to get to this lounge that we're sitting in right now in just a moment, but let me remind people, Sound Bites is the Daily Memphian's weekly food and drink podcast. It's part of our free podcast series. No paywalls here. Hear the newest episodes every week as well on WYXR radio. Catch Sound Bites Thursdays at 11. Listen to extended episodes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can even stream those extended episodes at dailymemphian.com. If you are listening now on WYXR, up next you can tune into the Sidebar podcast with Daily Memphian CEO Eric Barnes, all about arts and culture in Memphis. But let's get started properly with Jeff and Amanda. Either one of you jump in. Can you describe the room that we're sitting in now?
Yes, eclectic, and it was a way to empty the attic.
Amazing. There's mismatched in the very best way. Seating, stools, chairs. There's a little love seat that Jeff is on. We have antique and vintage lamps. We've got all manner of beautiful art on the walls. Or, well, I don't know if that guy in that picture, his eyeballs are moving to meet me or not. There's some skeletons going on. Okay, now that I'm looking, it's taking a bit of a turn. But that's kind of the vibe here at Memphis Whistle that I have loved so much since you guys opened up. But let's start there a little bit. People hopefully know the story that this kind of started as a to-go cocktail thing in the pandemic. But tell us a little bit about Memphis Whistle, and then we'll talk about the two of you.
I'll give you a little bit of background, just a quick form of it. During the pandemic, both myself and a partner named David Parks unceremoniously lost our jobs. And it's either sink or swim. You know, we both have families. So it was like, figure something out fast. So we were firmly entrenched in the gray area of delivering cocktails because we thought of it as we're the epitome of social distancing. There's no drunk driving. We're delivering the party to you. We're employing unemployed chefs to give food, and we're giving people jobs. So we've got them off unemployment. And it really took off, and it was on we had platforms and Facebook, and it took off, and we had a lot of fun because you could be really snarky. And if they said it was a party, we'd stop by the dollar store and buy them a bunch of tchotchke stuff.
That's so fun. It's this personal touch.
And then that just moved in as the governor's tide kind of took it away from delivery. We had to come up with something. And I'd lived down in New Orleans, and all the places that I loved were in old homes.
Yes.
You can create little niche spots for people. You can create little comfort zones. And that's what I really wanted. I wanted people to be able to walk in here, and she wanted everybody to be able, you want to be able to walk in and feel at home. You want to feel comfortable. And that's really what we push for Memphis Whistle. And then the decorating is just kind of stuff that we've collected or that I had up in an attic, and it was time to try to put it all out.
Additionally, some of the art that is up was made by my sister-in-law, his stepsister, and it is actually for sale.
Great.
And we want to try to push towards working with more local artists to have rotating art on the walls to help support their art.
Right.
So again, give them a venue to show it.
Yeah.
And we get art that's really cool and fun that changes.
So that was in 2020, 2021. You opened this location in Cooper Young, right off of Young, in a purple house. You can't miss it. It's in the purple house. And it used to be, before this, years ago, Chef Tam's. And way before that, it was Imagine Vegan, if people remember. But you opened this in 2022?
So we have been open. We're coming up on our 4th anniversary.
That's great. Okay, so
we will have made it to the 4-year mark.
You've made it. So let's talk about the menu. We have craft cocktails, amazing cocktails. Jeff, you do this thing that people talk about now, or have for several years, where I can come in and I can say, hey, okay, this is a real thing that I would say. I'm warming up to gin again, but I don't want a gin and tonic, but I don't want it to be sweet. I don't necessarily need it to be fruity. I'm looking for a cocktail like that, like a sipper, like not too strong maybe. That's probably like a lot of requests for you to fill, but I know that you can do that. And that's something that you all offer at Memphis Whistle in addition to your set menus.
We really pride ourselves on being able to work with you and give a couple of questions to get parameters. What spirit do you like? Do you like it fruity? Do you like it sweet? You want it booze forward? Mm-hmm. And we'll work from there and just kind of tailor make something for you. Or suggest something on the menu that might fit.
Or any classic cocktail.
Yes, we try to go
forgot
prohibition.
About those.
Yeah, we try to go prohibition style. So boozy forward, old style of making it.
Tell me more about prohibition style and what that means to you.
It's a lot of booze.
Just a lot of booze, yeah.
But you go back, and most of them, they would make their own syrups. They would make anything that they added in, they would make it themselves in-house. And this goes back when during Prohibition, a lot of the big bartenders went over to Europe because they couldn't make a living. Well, that opened them up to an entirely new menu of items that are available and how to craft them. And then they brought it back. And it was just beautiful because they brought a whole different style and a whole different palette. And then it combined with what was already here. And I think it's wonderful.
What is something you're really proud of on the drink menu now?
We have one of the best old fashions in town.
Yeah, it is a true old fashioned.
Mm-hmm. How do you make it?
We do bourbon, we do rye, we do very little simple syrup. We don't do any squeezing of fruit or maraschino cherries. We do orange bitters, a little bit of Angostura bitters, and then we house make our cherries. They're Montmorency sour cherries. Mm-hmm. And then we soak them for 45 days in brandy and brown sugar. So they're good. So they're really good for you and really tasty.
Yes, it's a health drink, really.
Yeah, it's all about you getting your nutrients.
We offset the toxins.
Yeah, we try to do a perfect balance of toxins and offsetting.
I like that. But one thing, speaking of that, I know that you also have mocktails, alcohol-free drinks. Amanda, that's something I think you've talked about in the past is, the way that you make everyone feel welcome, whatever they're drinking.
Yeah, we always want somebody to come in and if they're not drinking for whatever reason, they can still order something in a pretty glass with nice garnish and, whether they want people to know that they have alcohol in it or not, they can still feel like they're part of the experience and the party. And when we, make our shrubs, we try to stick with seasonal fruit and, we can play around with different ginger beers or soda waters, different flavors and just create something fun and funky that everybody can enjoy.
Is there a way you're incorporating local fruits and local ingredients, anything from the garden in those kind of shrubs and stuff that you're talking about?
Our garden doesn't grow quite as much produce as we would need to create
the full food,
the volume,
that
we need to push that out. So we try to source locally as much as humanly possible, but there are obviously cost constraints and things like that. But
and availability that causes an issue at times. But as much as we can, we're going to go with local.
Yeah, local and seasonal.
I mean, I think she's had to hear this so many times, but I'd read that when you spend $1 locally, it changes 8 hands before it leaves the economy. If you go big box, it's under an hour.
Wow.
It makes you really want to support local. You may have to pay a little bit more. It may not be available all the time, but it's the right thing to do.
For sure. Yeah, I hope
keep the money.
People are thinking
keep
about
the money
that.
where you are.
Mm-hmm. So when you come into Memphis Whistle, you are immediately greeted by the bar. It's lit up, and I've seen rainbow lights here from down the hall. And one of you or one of your staff is behind the bar. You can go down the hall, and you're sitting in the lounge. There's another room with tables and chairs. Okay, outside though, you have a patio, you have a porch, and you have a patio, which is great. And the patio is paved now. that feels more recent. It's been a minute since I have been in, but that made me want to ask, what all has changed here? Either the place or the menus in the last couple years, or really just like in the last year. What are the biggest changes y'all have made if people haven't been in a while?
The biggest thing would be the patio addition. And we'll be adding more to that. And that is a local contractor.
Okay.
So we want to keep that going there. We want to give our money to the people that we know. The kitchen had to contract a little bit just due to financial constraints. But with that, we put out some really cool food lately.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, can I do a plug? Because I want to plug her on this one.
Do it.
We started doing some specials, and most of it was kind of an homage to a lot of the places I used to go in New Orleans to eat, little sandwich shops or little off-the-wall places.
Yes.
We took what I liked the best out of them. Amanda redeveloped menus on them, and I think she did a wonderful job. Her recipes, the po' boys are fantastic, and the shrimp and alligator cheesecake is just something to get hold of.
Now, that's not something I've heard of before.
I used to work at Giacomo's down in New Orleans, and that is where that one's from, but hers is better.
I would say, just to piggyback off of the cost constraints on the menu, one thing I do want to put out there is that people don't think of us as a place to go for dinner.
Right.
Which is why we had to pare the menu back. People always thought of us as an after-dinner place. They don't think of us first for a dinner place, which is why we had to pare the kitchen back so drastically. And
we were
that
doing
hurt.
really good.
That
we
hurt
really
my
nice
heart.
entrees.
It was like, that was like the hardest decision because the kitchen's my baby. And having to recognize that, you know, it was costing us a lot of money to buy food that we were then having to throw away because people weren't coming for food. Because they know, they've followed Jeff for years, and they know his cocktails. But they usually, it seems like they kind of sleep on a little bit of the food.
People are
that we
sleeping
have.
on the food. But you still have
We have great things.
a full food menu. You can come and get dinner. It just seems like things are focused on a little more lighter fare as opposed to a full plate. We've got sandwiches. We've got... Tell me about the sandwiches. Tell me about the po' boys, because I have talked about on this podcast before. I'm a big po' boy fan. I love a roast beef po' boy, but I'm always looking for a great one that doesn't cost like $30.
We will not do that to you.
Look, you got to do what you got to do, but tell me about it.
So, first of all, we will not put po' boys on a hoagie. It is going to be on a Leidenheimer bun, which is a true po' boy bun out of New Orleans.
Yes.
Generally, they're a 6-inch po' boy. Like right now, we've got a fried green tomato BLT that's got avocado on it, and our special house-made whistle remoulade, which is one of my recipes. We've got one that's kind of homage to this really cool little sandwich shop in New Orleans, and we're calling it the Verdi Main, Verti. And it's got Genoa salami, capicola, fried shrimp, queso.
I think I saw this one on Instagram.
Yeah, queso, fontina cheese.
It is messy and wonderful in all the good ways, and we put some things together that a lot of people wouldn't think would work well.
Yeah.
But they do. They work well. They work so well.
And they're such a mess, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was back when I would sit on the curb in front of Verdi Mart with a beer, with the sandwich, and it's just a mess. But it's wonderful. It's what you do.
It is.
And we have right now we have a cheeseburger po' boy it's one of the better ones I've ever had. It's really well done.
Okay, let's go back to that alligator.
Okay, so
explain this to me.
Yeah.
so
break
what
it
had
down.
happened was
Cheesecake, alligator, something. Yes.
so it's a shrimp and alligator cheesecake. It's made with an alligator sausage, so there is pork in it if there's anybody that's averse to that. But it comes out more like a souffle. Because of the amount of egg that I put in it with the cream cheese. And so it just gets whipped really, really well. But it's one of the signature things that Giacomo's in New Orleans is known for. So I played around with the recipe a little bit and made it my own. So, because obviously I don't want to, step on any toes. I make it with, it's got a basil cream sauce with a little Chardonnay in it that's really, really nice on the top. One of our staff members, the only thing he ever wanted for his birthday, he didn't want birthday cake. He wanted this cheesecake when he was living in New Orleans. And when I made it, he was like, my grandma had tried to make this recipe and you actually did it. But it's a lot lighter. It's not quite as dense as like your traditional like cheesecake where you're getting just a brick of cream cheese. But it's
light, fluffy, savory.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And I think at some point I'd like to play around with some different proteins in it.
Yeah.
Maybe
do it would be so good.
Just
I think
crawfish
there's
or something.
different ways of doing that would be fantastic. And like right now we're doing a black and red fish po' boy.
That sounds excellent.
It is really good.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun. It's fun to teach the guys how to cook fish properly.
Yes.
And that's been a little learning experience because most of them, they're like, yeah, I can cook fish. Then you watch and you're like, no.
And blackening is a whole different thing.
It is the seasoning that I make. It doubles as our blackening and our Creole seasoning, but it's got just enough of the spices in it to where it'll blacken nicely without, burning. That's another, I'm really proud of that spice mix too.
The spice mix is really nice on it, and the red fish. We get from a guy, a fishmonger named Ray.
Yes.
He comes by and our specials kind of depend on what he has.
Yeah, that's great though. That makes sense.
And it's fun, and he helped me do some things like, he was not involved in this one, but we did a hind quarter of a rabbit during the year. It was fantastic. So we did have really good entrees. And now we've gone a little lighter, and we're still getting in oysters. We're getting Upper East Coast oysters.
Excellent, yeah.
So they're still really fresh. Those are not every week because it depends on the harvest dates.
But that kind of keeps things fun and interesting. Some places I feel like really lean on having the same menu and the same things forever. And there's a time and a place for that. But sometimes you want something different, You really want to try something, or you want to go back to the same place, but not just have the same thing you've had for 5 years or 10 years. And so the way that you depend on availability, what's fresh, what's seasonal, what's local, in your own ways is really cool to me. So, Amanda, did you go to culinary school?
No.
You said the kitchen is your baby. It's your happy place. How did you get there?
I grew up with my grandma and my mom in the kitchen, just playing with food. And then once the kids were born, I started kind of like learning creative ways to sneak like fruits and vegetables into their food.
Yes.
Like I made these fabulous roasted beet brownies, and they didn't know that they had beets. And they loved it, So I would always I just started kind of playing. I feel like I have this innate sense of like knowing what flavors pair well together and knowing what to do, because I cook like this is a teaspoon, so I cook like grandma. I'm usually about 85-90% good. I do have some mistakes, but it's all learning. But yeah, I've just always kind of been able to do it.
You get 85-90% of the way there, have a taste test.
Yeah.
Adjust. Well, you were describing how you measure your salt or your teaspoons and like touching the palm of your hand. Like, I call it measuring with your heart. Like, I'm just measuring this with my heart, and I hope that's okay. I'm like, whenever I'm talking in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And that just, people were wondering, that's what you're doing. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, sorry. It's like, oh, yeah, that looks like that's about the right amount of, whatever.
It is kind of hard because both of us do that too much back there because we're trying to train other cooks back there. And, and they'll watch me put on seasoning, and it's like, well, you get a handful and you go about a foot high of dropping it.
Look, they're going to have to learn to measure with their hearts, too.
And you're looking and going, that's really not a precise measurement, but it really works, Oh, this one's about 2 feet,
Well, it's like when we first started doing the chili, the chili recipe that I use. It's a riff off of the one that my mom always made. And so whenever I had to sit down and write the recipe out just for consistency, that was a process.
Yes.
Trying to figure out, well, how much of this did I put in there? Like what?
But that's why people...
It keeps it fresh because it's not ever quite the same.
But that's why people come, because they're not going to try to figure that out themselves. They're going to be able to enjoy your years of experience, your sense of flavor. I want to talk about Cooper Young a little bit too. What it's like having a business in Cooper Young. And like I have walked past the Memphis Whistle on days when there's a Tigers game. And y'all are like packed out on the patio. People are filling this place up. I know there's lots of events and things that are happening in the community to keep it busy. But overall, what's it like these days having a business in Cooper Young?
It's a family.
Yeah.
It is truly a community. I really like to think of us as kind of like the old social clubs.
Yeah.
In the essence that used to be for speakeasies, as well as for communities to come in and get to know each other. I really want you, like I said, I want you to be able to walk in and feel comfortable. And we are an all-inclusive, we're a safe place for anybody and everybody. Mm-hmm. And we are all-inclusive. That's what you should, to me, that's what you should be. Cooper Young is a wonderful community. So embrace it and be a part of it. And with that, we also got Green Fork certified. So, we're sustainable in a lot of ways. Our straws are either bamboo or agave fiber. We use the compost fairy to compost just about anything. Like we can do bones, pretty much anything that's not plastic. So, and that to me, again, ties into the community here. This community is a very vibrant community. And we get to see a lot of the same people and we get to know them and build friendships, and it's wonderful. So
when you are making a drink, a mocktail, whatever you're making at home for yourself, what are you making?
Mine is the Hefe on the menu.
Yes.
It is a nice tequila and a pedestrian beer.
Just one and one.
That is what I drink.
Mm-hmm.
I make a lot of fun cocktails, and the shrubs are enormous fun, as Amanda talked about. But that's how we got started when we were first doing deliveries. All of my cocktails were shrub-based.
So if we don't know, explain what a shrub is exactly if people don't know.
That goes back historically. It was prior to refrigeration. It was a way of storing either fruit or vegetable juices. You take it and you macerate them down with sugar. You let the juices all come out. You strain it off. Then you combine it with vinegar. Now, we don't use as much vinegar. Because,
right, it doesn't taste like vinegar.
No, It doesn't. And we will match a vinegar to it. Like we have 4 different vinegars back there. We have 3 different types of sugar, depending on what we're trying to create. We try to match it up and make the flavor profile really nice to where it will still have the shrub essence, but we also have refrigeration, so we don't have to use all that vinegar to keep it.
You're taking the fun part and leaving the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the part where you go, oh my. These are just fun, tasty drinks, and it's fun to play around with. And then you can riff off of it and create cocktails, or you create non-alcoholic cocktails. And I did want to say something about our menu that I really like is we are gluten-free for the most part, and no gluten goes in the fryer. So we try to keep availability to you. I don't think we started out to be that way, but it just kind of turned that way.
Sure.
And it makes people happy.
Yeah, that's something I don't think people know about y'all is that you have that now. And we're just hearing more and more about restaurants, bakeries making accommodations where they can if people don't want to have gluten or can't have gluten. So
it's really just not as hard as they make it out to be. Your measurements are different. You may have to pay a little bit more for the flour, but to make somebody happy and healthy and be able to have something that they might not have been able to have, that's totally worth it.
Absolutely.
And you open up a different market.
Yes.
Friend of ours that works at another restaurant who has celiac, and she had not had gumbo in She couldn't remember how long. And she came in, and I make my gumbo roux with a gluten-free flour. And I was like, you can have my gumbo.
Yeah.
And she did. And it made her so happy. And it's just seeing those reactions on people's faces when they haven't been able to have that for, however long. It makes it worth it. Makes it all worth it,
absolutely.
And just kind of.
We try to accommodate a lot of different people.
Well, I was just thinking, I was describing the space earlier, and it's like, I have friends that say they come here right when you open at 4 in the evenings, like for kind of an after work, after school drink, like not after school, you know what I mean, grown-up school.
Yeah.
After work drink, have a snack. People could come here for dinner. They could come here before they go to a show. The shows, I don't know, live music starting later and later. They can come here before they go out and see a show. They could come for after dinner drinks for great cocktail, like this Prohibition era booze forward post dinner nightcap situation. So I feel like there's a lot of versatility that I wanted to kind of get across to people.
The other thing that's fun here, I got to say something else about the menu.
Please do.
When in season, the crawfish boils are killer.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. And I smoke a whole alligator from time to time, which is enormous fun.
It's not something people here have seen very often.
No, and it's not really economical, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's different, and it's really tasty. It's much more like a pork tenderloin.
With Cooper Young Fest coming up, usually for Porch Fest and Cooper Young Fest, we will set up our bar and our food station outside. So we do grab and go, like easy menu items. So like, we'll have a gator corn dog.
The gator corn dog has been fantastic. It is so good.
Yeah.
And we blend in funnel cake batter, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so good. And you take it with you. You carry it.
Yep. It's a whistle dog.
What is your strategy for Cooper Young Fest? I've worked at Cooper Young Fest before, and it was a memorable day for me many years ago working at a restaurant in this neighborhood.
If you say prayers to whatever God that you choose, say your prayers. It's fun.
One of our saving graces is that we are so far off the beaten path down here. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know that it's as hectic for us down here as it is further into the intersection.
Yes.
Hopefully things are going to grow down this way and it will expand more so that, it can be more vibrant down here during Cooper Young Fest and be more inclusive of the rest of the neighborhood.
Incorporate us in a little bit better.
Yeah. But,
while we like being off the beaten path, you also want to kind of be on the path.
Yeah.
But our plan is to have really, a few solid batch cocktails for walking around, a couple of different frozen drinks.
The frozen drinks have been enormous fun.
Yeah. That purple drink.
Yeah.
That we've become known for is excellent in the frozen machine.
Okay, tell me, we got to talk about the frozen drinks.
All right.
The purple drink, is this like Lafitte's inspired in any way, or it's your own concoction of purple drink?
It's my own concoction. Mm-hmm. When we were delivering them, it was the second drink that I made up. And I would run a pea mix every week. And the top 5 drinks got to stay.
Yes.
It stayed for the entire duration. And I make a ton of it. But it's a lot of fun. It's butterfly pea blossom infused gin. It's a ginger syrup. It's a lavender syrup. A little bit of lime. It smells nice. It's pretty. It tastes good. And it's healthy for you. The butterfly pea blossom is wonderful for you.
Yeah, it cures all that ails you.
Uh-huh. And the ginger and the lavender.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
That sounds great, especially good for, any season really, but for fall in a frozen form. That's what other frozen drinks?
Well, right now we're doing a bourbon lemonade that's been really good.
Yeah.
I also did a riff off of a last word, but did it with Arkansas sake and yellow chartreuse. It is so good. And it is just so weird. It is just good.
I know several people who, if I say there's something weird on that menu, they're like, take me there. I got to try it. Yeah.
Well, this was one where the representative came in and said, hey, do you want to try some Arkansas sake? And I said, certainly not. And she said, okay, don't be so stupid. And that's the kind of relationship that we have. She was like, you're just being stupid. She said, take a minute. So I did, and I had to sit there, and I said, okay, Arkansas is 51%, if I remember correctly, it's 51% of the rice produced in the U.S. comes from Arkansas. It supposedly has more rice being grown than China. And the sake comes out of Hot Springs, which is known for water. Mm-hmm. So the guys who made the sake went over to Japan, found an old seed collector, and he'd been saving sake seeds and rice seeds, and they got it from him. And I believe they do most of their rice out of Stuttgart. And it just makes sense. It's really wonderful
when you think about
sake.
it like that, it makes a lot more sense.
When you take a minute and go, wow, really clean water, lots of rice, it works. So it's fun.
We're kind of coming to the end here, but I wanted to talk about, if people don't remember, like, Jeff, you've been in the Memphis restaurant industry and the industry around for many years. Prior to Memphis Whistle, people could have found you at...
I was at the Cove, Pontotoc, Gray Canary. Majestic was my first place.
Yeah.
And then the Cove. And then it just kind of more from there as people found me. And I was at 117 Prime, and we did the Underground Lounge.
Yes.
So it was a lot of fun, and ended up at Pontotoc right before the pandemic. So it was a fun little trip of, having people come and find you and say, will you come fix my bar? Will you make my bar profitable? It's like, maybe. We can hope.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey, Jeff, and thank you for talking with us and sharing your journey, Amanda. I really appreciate it. This is really all the time we have, but definitely come to Memphis Whistle. We have talked about so many different things to eat and drink that you can get here, from something simple, refreshing, a mocktail with the shrub, really strong purple drink, frozen, all manner of drinks and snacks, things that you're not going to get on other menus in Memphis. So don't forget, this is Sound Bites, the Daily Memphians food, drink, and dining podcast with me, Holly Whitfield. Listen for free all the time. You can read a little bit more about Memphis Whistle and the Hicks at thedailymemphian.com. There's a little story that comes out every week with the episode. You can also stream the pod there at dailymemphian.com. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Listen to the extended episodes. Thank you so much, both of you. And
thank you.
Cheers.